Hi, good evening, everybody. This is Rosemary Rose here, and I've got a very special show for you tonight. Um, you might know me from Saturday morning cartoons with Mark and Jerome. We've been doing it for almost 4 years now. We also do every other Friday night. We do classic television SmackDown, but that's next week. So tonight, I wanted to do a special presentation in regard to the passing of Olivia Newton-John. Olivia Newton-John sadly passed away from a very long battle with breast cancer on Monday. I was at work, and it was a very hectic, normal, typical Monday. And about 4:30, I decided to check my phone. It was almost the end of the day. And I looked at my phone and I saw that an hour before they were posting that Olivia Newton-John had died, and my world just ended. It just ended right then and there. As a young girl growing up in Homestead, Florida, I was an only child. And in those days, in the early 80s, I would sit at home. There was no internet. There was, cable TV was on, but, a lot of times it was the same thing over and over again. So what I would do is sit in my room and listen to Olivia Newton-John for hours at a time. I really loved her music, and it was, sometimes it was just the two of us, and she was like the friend. If I didn't have a friend around, she was the friend there for me always when I needed her. So being a huge fan of Grease and Xanadu, which were very near and dear to my heart, and her music, I decided the other day that I wanted to do a special. It was actually Rachel's best friend, Jenny's idea. She said, "Why don't Roses in Reaction do a special about Olivia Newton-John?" And I said, Rachel really isn't into Olivia Newton-John like I am. And then I thought about it a day later. I'm like, why don't I just do my own show? So here we are tonight. We are doing a special to Olivia Newton-John. And I have some wonderful clips. And I hope that some people will join me with their memories and everything else. So please join us if you'd like, and share, what you remember about Olivia and how much she meant to you. I hear something. Is that you, Mark? Are you there? Are you joining me tonight? Please come and join me. I see you. No, you're not. Okay. Well, he's not going to join me, but he is. He's here watching. And oh, there you are. Look at you. You're all shaved and haircut. So I've got a lot of clips I want to share with you. Unfortunately, I couldn't load them into the studio, so I'm going to have to do screen share. But I've got quite a bit of stuff I want to share with everybody. And basically, you know me, I'm a historian. If you all watch the Saturday morning cartoons and classic television SmackDown, I love to dig deep into the lives of people and TV shows. And I learned a lot of stuff about Olivia Newton-John while I was working on this special. So I'm going to go ahead and start my first clip. This is Olivia Newton-John started out in the 1960s. I know a lot of people think, well, she was in Grease and that was where she got her start, but no, that's not true. In the 1960s, she was in Melbourne, Australia, and she was doing a show, and I've got that here for you. I've got the clip of the show that she used to be on early in the 1960s. So let me just pull that up for you.
Two young Melbourne girls, Pat Carroll and Olivia Newton-John, made regular appearances on Time for Terry and quickly became major draw cards.
the things we did last summer. I remember all winter long.
I want you to pay attention to Pat Carroll, because she plays a very important part in Olivia Newton-John's life from the start of their career on forward.
When you decide what is right for us, will you be understanding? And time after time, you'll hear me say that I'm so lucky to be loving, so lucky to be loving, so lucky to be loving you.
Their personal charm and talent was obvious, but one man who saw their future potential was Terry O'Neill, as he revealed on their final appearance on his show.
Look, on behalf of everyone here, we would like to wish you every success, and I mean that sincerely. And I think you're going to have a great big success. I'm pretty sure of it. I got bets on it. I got news for you. Want to see you come back here next time as the big stars, you know, touring around. All right? Maybe movies as well. You never know. Here we are.
The rest, as they say, is history.
And it was history. History started right then and there on that Terry show. And she went on to do some other stuff in 1965. She did a show called Boomeride. And we're going to play that clip here in just a second. And I got it. There.
A man's gotta be a man the best way he can. He had to get away from me to be a man again. So he crawled and he walked and he ran and he moved from me. Baby, I'm going baby. But nothing can be done, there's not a place to hide or run from me.
So I'm not playing a lot of long clips for the singing so that we don't get bumped. So let me just get rid of that one. And jump on again. There we go. So that's early Olivia Newton-John. And later on that year, she did a Christmas special. And it was called Funny Things Happen Down Under. And she sang a song in that called Christmas Time Down Under. And I've got a clip of that as well that I'm going to share with you guys. So, one moment. It's blurred just yet. I don't know why that didn't come up. Let me try it again.
Make believe we hear those jingle bells. It doesn't really matter where we are. We can look to the sky and see the reason why it's Christmas time down under. It's so wide, it's so blue. You'd see the reason too at Christmas time down under.
Olivia, you could tell she was like amazingly talented even at that young age with her beautiful voice and her smile. And that really didn't change a lot over the years. So in the 1960s, we move on forward to the 1970s. And she guest starred on a singing show in Europe called Eurovision. And this was in 1974. And that year she was up against a group you might have heard of called ABBA. And they performed Waterloo on that show. So Waterloo ended up becoming the #1 winner. And Olivia ended up placing 4th in that contest. But I have got a clip of her song in the finale from Eurovision. So we're going to play that one here. And
It's like 10 tin soldiers in a row, followed hand in hand. Sister Anna carrying the banner for the Sally Annie Band. Singing songs of praise and glory, we all learn to love their story. Good things are coming to ya. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Long, long live love, as long as we live, living, forgiving. Long, long live love.
so later on, she about that same time, she ended up getting a record deal in the United States, and she was actually a country singer, and she ended up doing very well in the country music scene. She was a little bit different. She had that Australian accent, and her songs were huge hits. Sounded like a polka. Yeah, it kind of did. It really kind of did. So let's see here. I wanted to share with you after that. She ended up being on the Johnny Carson show, and this was in 1975, I believe. I've got that one here. Her first Johnny Carson, it was a really odd interview, so I really kind of clipped it. I don't really know why they only talked about terms that they spoke about in Australia. It was kind of strange, but I really wanted to share this with you guys because I just thought it was kind of neat.
Very pretty young lady. Her name is Olivia Newton-John, and she recently won a Grammy for her gold record hit, Let Me Be There. She is currently appearing at Disneyland and will be appearing at the International Hotel in Las Vegas with Charlie Rich the 2nd through the 15th of July. This is her first appearance on The Tonight Show. Would you welcome, please, Olivia Newton-John.
You came when I was happy in your sunshine. I grew to love you more each passing day. Before too long I built my world around you, and I prayed you'd love enough of me to stay.
Did you meet everyone sitting back there before the show?
Yes, my name is Truman.
Never mind that.
This is the fraud.
Don't confuse everybody. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah. Did I pronounce your name? Olivia Newton-John, right?
That's right.
An Australian, I found out. Do
I'm
people-
actually English.
English?
But I went to Australia when I was 5, and I lived there for 10 years, and then I went back to England again. So I've sort of got 2 nationalities.
That's great. Everybody who...
So that's interesting. And I did not know that. I did not know she was originally from England. And because they always played up her Australian heritage. And she lived in Melbourne for a very long time. And, but I just found out, like, when I was working on the show, that a couple of years ago, Queen Elizabeth honored her with the term Dame Olivia Newton-John. And that's because she was originally from Britain, from the UK. And I thought that was pretty neat. I didn't know that until I started looking into this stuff. So we had the country music scene. She had a huge hits. She was like a superstar. And there were songs like Sam, Please, Mr. Please, Don't Play B-17. lots of great country music. And you know what, I hope that anybody who comes on here and wants to share anything about your memories with Olivia, I really would appreciate it. So, one moment. Yeah, I just want to get off. So then we move on to what made Olivia Newton-John a household name. And y'all know what I'm talking about, and that is the movie Grease. So I've got a clip here for you. Just give me a second. And the music. Nope, it's not coming up. Of course. We're having weather issues here, so let me try again. There we go.
Musical unforgettable.
So it came up late. I had a delay on that. So let's try it again. Let's see if we can get it to play again. Let's see. Let's try again.
And Olivia Newton-John explode across the motion picture screen in Grease, the movie filled with more song, more dance, more of everything that makes a great musical unforgettable.
Mark, come on in if you want. Hey, Mark, how you doing this evening? I can't hear you at all. What's going on? You're muted. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to be polite. Hi, sweetie.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. I got so many screens open right now. I'm not delayed, but you know the recording is. It's about time you're talking about something I can relate to. Okay. You know, she was very, very cute, but she wasn't hot until Grease. You know, simple as
right.
As all that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I adored Olivia Newton-John, and I didn't know she was British either. I thought she was an Aussie. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's through all this research that I found out all this cool stuff about her. And
wow.
So tell me, did you see Grease in the movie theater? Because I did not. I did not get to see it in the theater.
Girl, what year did Grease come out? 78?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so the year after Star Wars, and you guys know about my Star Wars history on that. I saw a commercial, or no, it had to be a clip in the movie theater, so it might even been during Star Wars. I don't know. But I went to see Grease day one, okay, during the day it opened and whatever, and I think I saw it 5 times after that. Okay, I'm like, oh my God, look at all these white people. Look at all these white people singing and having a good time. Oh, so this was what high school was like in the 50s. How about that? Because we didn't have Happy Days. We did have. Was American Graffiti out?
Yeah, American Graffiti, I think, was 73. I want to say.
Oh, okay, yeah. Long before that, so that it was pretty good to see, and it was a musical, and I think the clips, you know, in the theater that I saw was what really turned me on, because some of the music they played in the clips, like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. And of course, John Travolta was big in. Wait a minute, this was before Saturday Night Live, right? Or Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever, yeah. Saturday Night Fever came afterwards. So
it came afterwards.
Yeah, this was his big movie debut. In fact, I have a clip that I'm going to share with you guys about that, about him.
Sorry, I had You having weather issues down there?
Yeah.
And John Travolta first worked together. They produced 3 top 5 hits and starred in the biggest movie musical of all time, Grease. But right now, we're going to visit John and Olivia to hear about how they first met.
The very first time that John and I met was at my house in Malibu when he came to see me about Grease. He was very young and very naive, and all I remember was these big pair of blue eyes looking very in awe at this house, and he came inside and he went, "Oh, look at this house, and you have gold records on the wall, and you have a swimming pool, and you have horses."
Go ahead.
And he was very excited by
Very excited, yes, this point.
He was very thrilled by the house and everything. And what really amazes me about this is now 5 years later, John takes me flying in his jet airplane, where like 5 years ago he couldn't believe that I had this house and a swimming pool. Now he takes me up in his jet.
Now,
With his
when I did
Oh, I think that was it.
Yeah, it looked like it looked like it cut off. Looked like that was the end of it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
that's
I found that beautiful clip. I love Solid Gold, by the way. I used to watch it all the time. When I
yeah,
was growing
that
up.
was Marilyn McCoo. You know, Marilyn McCoo, if no one knew, was an original member of the Fifth Dimension. Would you like?
No,
to
I did
fly?
not know that.
Oh, my beautiful blue. Yeah, she was part of the Fifth Dimension.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to my friend Deborah.
Yay!
She's one of my closest friends, and I'm so glad that she's watching tonight. Hello, and her husband Mike, and her brother are also watching. That's really cool. I appreciate you watching.
That's good. You got friends watching. For your show. Good job.
So I have a couple more clips from Grease that I want to share. I try to stay away from the musical stuff, but you know, I can sing.
You just ask me, and I'll sing it.
Okay, go ahead.
No,
Okay.
no, not now.
Oh,
I'm not ready now.
Well, you know what? I have a kitten here who's trying to eat my board. So give me just a second.
I love your cat. We love it when your cat comes on screen, so it's cool with me. And you froze.
You did now.
Well, hi, Riz. Hi, Gus.
We got a surprise for you.
Surprise with us? You'll see. Right, Riz? Just come here, darling.
Hey, Zuko, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Sandy!
Teddy?
What are you doing here? I thought you were going back to Australia.
We had a change of plans.
I can't... Well, that's cool, baby. I mean, you know how it is. Rockin' and rollin' and whatnot.
Danny?
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with me, baby? What's the matter with you?
What happened to the Danny Zuko I met at the beach?
Well, I do not know. I mean, maybe there's two of us, right? Why don't you take out a missing persons ad or try the yellow pages? I don't know.
You're a fake and a phony, and I wish I'd never laid eyes on you.
Whoa.
Now, I had a girl say that to me once.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
You know, I love that scene. Let me tell you my Grease story. Okay, I did not get to see Grease in theater, but you know, back in the day, when you had cable television, you would get like this booklet that would come, and it would tell you all the movies and what times they would play. And my friend April and I would take it, and every time Grease was on, we'd circle them. And she would come over to my house to spend the night, and we would watch Grease like every single time. We would act out every part. She played Danny, I played Sandy, and we would sing all the songs. And we did this all the time. We had this big fluffy chair in my living room, and at the end, we would get in it and pretend we were in the car flying away. And we did this like all the time, okay? When I got to see the Grease album for the first time, because I didn't own it, a friend of mine did originally. I ended up getting the soundtrack later, and I was just mesmerized because it was like you would open it up, and inside there were all these great photos of the movie. And yes, thank you, Mark. It was just incredible. I loved the way it looked. I loved all the songs on it. And the thing is about the soundtrack is there's a lot of songs on there that are not prevalent like in the film. You could
they weren't in the movie.
Well, they were in the dance. A lot of them were in the dance when they were doing the prom scene. So they're like bits and pieces of the songs
Yeah.
You might hear them, but it's just like you don't, But if you see, did you ever see the play? Did you ever go see the play, Grease?
I'm a man, woman. What's wrong with you?
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
Let me tell you. Okay, I had the movie ingrained in my head. Okay, I grew up with the movie. So years and years later, I went to see the stage play, which is nothing like the movie. It's like it has more of the 50s songs in it, and a lot of the songs, like "Hopelessly Devoted," isn't in it. And there's other songs. I think they ended up incorporating them later, but when I went to see it, they didn't have it, and I'm like, "This isn't my Grease. This isn't my movie." And I was just like so disappointed when I went to the play, and I had like
you think they created a lot of the songs that we know of Grease for the movie?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the song "You're the One That I Want," "We Go Together," I think that and "Hopelessly Devoted" were all like made for Olivia, I think.
Yes.
And a lot of the songs are like more like 50 style songs in the play. So but now I think that because people complain, and that I think they tried to incorporate a lot of it into the play now, but when I saw it, it wasn't. It was totally different. Even some of the scenes are different.
Yeah. What's really interesting is, I grew up in a tough neighborhood in Baltimore, but I was into cartoons, as you know. I was into classic television, as you know, but I was also into movies. Into musicals, but motion picture musicals from the 50s and so on. I was big into King and I was big into Oklahoma. I was big into The Music Man. I know every line in The Music Man, whatever. And I think that's probably one of the reasons that Grease drew me so much, because it was like, man, these are really, cool songs. And I'm really into, the really hip, cool songs that are unusual for the atmosphere that I'm watching. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Grease drew me. That's why I watched it 5 times. It was just it could have been more than that, but I know a minimum of 5 times I watched Grease. And I really enjoyed watching Olivia Newton-John on the screen, even though I had no idea who before Grease. I had no idea who this woman was.
Unless you were in the country music scene, which she was huge. She'd already won awards. She was like platinum, but nobody else really knew who she was unless you were a country music fan. But the thing that I think really made this movie work, was the chemistry between John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. If they didn't have that spark, that chemistry, I don't think this movie would be as popular as it is today. And I've got another scene I wanted to share with you.
Hi, Sandy.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
Fine, thanks.
That's good. Hey, Sandy, I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time now.
And what about?
Well, about that night at the bonfire. I mean, the way I acted, that was terrible. I mean, it really was. I mean, it wasn't me. You gotta know that. I mean, it was me, of course, but it wasn't me. And you see, Sandy, I got this image, right? I got this
Well, that's why I'm
image.
so glad that Tom's such a simple person.
Dork!
Simple is right. Too bad his brains are in his biceps.
Jealous, are you?
Jealous? Oh, come on, Sandy. Don't make me laugh. Ha, ha, ha.
And what have you ever done?
Oh, come on. I can run circles around those jerks.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so they just had that really great chemistry, and you'll see later on. When I talk about Xanadu, that spark wasn't there. That was between Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. So I think that the movie, everybody knows what Grease is, and Grease is the word. So that movie was just like so popular, and it just it took over pulp culture, really. You see it all the time in references and everything else. And in 2019, and I had totally forgot about this, Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta came down here to Tampa, and they did like a meet and greet, and this was right before COVID hit and everything. So like the year before. And I couldn't afford to go because the tickets were so expensive.
We lost you there. Are you still there?
Can you hear me?
Hopefully, if you guys can still hear us, I think we lost Rose. I know she's having some connection issues there. No apology, Rose, whatsoever. We understand maybe storms in the area. So we'll go ahead and talk as much as we can about Grease until she pops back in again. But my thought on Andy Zuko himself. Andy Zuko? Am I saying his first name right? Danny Zuko is stupid me. I'm sorry. We lost you there for a little bit. Did you know that, Rose?
I heard you. I was like, I'm right here, and I don't know what happened. It must be the area. It must be.
It's the connection. Yeah, it's the connection. Yeah, no worries about it. But when I see you disappear, I'll pop in. But let me say this real quick about. I think John Travolta played the perfect sweat hog, even though he wasn't called the sweat hog in this, but he played the perfect role. I thought it was brilliant acting on his part, the way he's trying to be Mr. Tough Guy, and then he has to suck it all up and kind of get on his hands and knees and plead to the girl, please keep me, please keep me, because that's when. Oh, thanks, Cheryl. But that's when, when you get into the groveling act, and then of course. If you love someone as much as he loved her, you would basically do things you're not used to doing, contrary to your image. And that's exactly what I was seeing to Danny Zuko. But also in Olivia Newton-John's character, I saw her, you knew that she was playing with him, trying to get him to suck up even more. She was enjoying this. She wasn't literally, saying, okay, this in her head, saying, okay, this relationship is over. I wish this loser would leave me. No, she loved him just as much as he loved her. But I felt so bad for Danny in this scene because I know what he has to bring himself to make this girl basically come back to him. And it's like, oh, it was a tough scene for me to watch. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. He really goes through a lot in that film, and he's just this typical guy, I guess, just and wanting to make big with his pals, and he ends up deciding that she's more important than them, and then it turns out everybody can get along. So it was a great theme for that movie. So Grease was a big hit, and so later on in 1980 she went on to do Xanadu, and I love Xanadu. Okay, but
I know you do.
I'll share my thoughts on it in just a minute. I've got a interview that she did on the Mike Douglas show in that regard. So I'm going to grab it.
I'm going to take a swig of my beer before you play anything Xanadu related, okay?
And is it going to pop up? Dancing with the famous
Yeah, we couldn't hear you when you were talking there, Rose. Try again.
Okay, I don't know why we have no sound on this either. Hold on.
Xanadu, the script of Xanadu. I said to her. And I did tap dancing one day and fell in love with it. And the big thing down there is you should do something that you really enjoy. So when I got back to Los Angeles, I started tap dancing, which is really coincidental because when the script came in and it was 40s music, and I said, maybe stupidly, oh, I'm doing tap dancing, maybe we should do a tap number. Little did I know Gene Kelly was in the movie yet.
But he didn't want to dance in that movie, did he?
No, he wasn't going to dance, he wasn't going to sing, and then about halfway through the movie...
What a waste that would have been.
I think halfway through the film he really sort of got itchy feet, and we wrote
Did he choreograph that because it looks so much like his moves?
Yeah, he and Kenny Ortega did it together, but he sort of worked out all the camera movements so that the dance worked with the camera, which makes it look so big. He's brilliant, and he's such a perfectionist. It was really a wonderful experience working with him.
What did you feel? I mean, as a kid growing up in Australia and England, places like that, having seen that man, to suddenly see yourself on that larger-than-life screen dancing with Gene Kelly, my God.
I was terrified. I mean, for the weeks leading up to it, I was like, how am I going to pull this off? But we rehearsed a lot.
He put you at ease, huh?
Yeah, oh yes, he was.
How much did you rehearse? Give me an idea.
Well, between on often on my days off, I would go and rehearse with the choreographer, and in between, you know, after we finished shooting at night for the 3 weeks beforehand, we did the routine over and over again. And then before we started filming, I'd been learning it for a couple of months.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the infamous, well, the famous dancing scene between the two of them. How much she really worked on that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's probably one of the best scenes in the entire movie. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
did you see Xanadu at the theater?
I'm a man, woman. What's wrong with you?
Well, you saw Grease and you like musicals, so.
Yeah, it was dudes like West Side Story. They were dancing. I could relate to that. But that woman is so, you know, Mike Douglas was a staple in my household when I was growing up. We watched
I
Mike
love
Douglas
the Mike
religiously.
Douglas show. I grew up with the Mike Douglas show. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a great
Yeah.
interviewer.
But no, I did not go to see Xanadu, but of course with the magic of cable TV back then, HBO popping up on the screens and whatever. I couldn't tell you beginning or the end of Xanadu, but I think at some point I'm sure I watched some of it.
I saw it religiously on cable. Okay. I didn't get to see it in the theater, but I saw it every time it was on cable, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
You know, you got to understand, I'm like, it came out in like 80, 81. I was like 10 years old. Skating was so huge at that time. So I had my own skates. And I was like, I was skating around on my porch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, let me go to Xanadu Land. And I'd slam myself into the shed like Beck does in the film. And you know, I never got to. That never happened. I just kept getting hurt. But you know, it was just very. At that time, it was a magical movie for me. It was really cool. I've seen it tons of times since then, but the night that she passed away, Monday night, I decided that I was going to watch Xanadu again, and I decided to watch Xanadu instead of Grease because I've seen Grease like a billion times, and so I'm like, I want to watch Xanadu. So I turned it on and I watched it, and I'm like, you know, this movie has not aged well. It's a little bit on the cheesy side, and so, but I want to share the trailer. I've got the trailer.
I knew that even. Yeah, well, I knew that even back then that movie didn't. Yeah, let me hear it.
Open your eyes and hear the magic.
I cut this trailer because trailers used to be really long back in the day. But I like this trailer.
Universal Pictures announces the most dazzling romantic musical fantasy in years.
You wish.
Xanadu. Starring Olivia Newton-John, Michael Beck.
Who?
Michael Beck from The Warriors.
And Gene Kelly.
Oh, right.
Whenever you're away from me, wherever you go, you're never far away from me.
I love ELO.
And they're so great.
Xanadu. It's a love story about a boy and girl from two very different worlds whom no one can keep apart.
It's the only song I know from that whole movie.
Oh no, I know every song from that movie.
I'm sorry.
I had no. Don't be sorry. That the Xanadu. Okay, the movie was a flop. Okay, the album hit double platinum.
You think?
The album went double platinum.
Yeah.
And I played that so many times that it started squeaking, and I ended up having to make a copy of it, and then I wore that copy out. So that is that was the big deal. You've got ELO singing, Olivia Newton-John.
I'm pretty. Yeah.
So what you were saying?
I'm pretty sure that trailer kept me away from seeing it. I said I'm pretty sure that trailer kept me away from seeing the movie.
It was very different. I guess maybe all the flash and all the, they're just, I think that they were just trying to push the part that, Olivia Newton-John's in it, the girl you love from Grease, if you saw that, the thing is about that film is that she and Michael Beck had zero chemistry. Okay. Not like he's not John Travolta by any means. I mean, I think he tried. It just they just didn't
I only
hit it
see
off.
him as the leader of the Warriors.
Yeah, they just did not hit it off. But
yeah,
one of the scenes I really like towards the end is when she reveals to him who she really is, and I have a clip. That clip I want to share because. Cool.
Look up the word muse in the dictionary. Go on. Page 728. Read it.
Okay. All right, I'll read it. Muse. Any of the 9 sisters...
Like the album cover?
Any of the 9 sister goddesses in Greek mythology, presiding over song and poetry and the arts and sciences. And do you believe me now, Sonny? How'd you do that? What's going on?
The television.
Well, look who's here. Who's chasing you this time, Vargas? The cops or the mob?
Don't get smart with me, Nick. I told you to stay away from Brenda Trent.
Ah, yes, you did tell me. What should I do, Sonny? Dive at him or make a martini?
What?
Who are you talking to?
Sonny Malone. He doesn't believe Kira's a muse.
How can you be talking to me? You're a movie.
I ain't got time for this, Malone. Brenda's the only one that saw me at the racetrack. Now, if the lady says she's a muse, she's a muse. Who's that? Brenda.
Kira.
Sonny.
I think he needs a drink.
It's okay. I'll take care of it. Thanks.
Good luck on the opening of your joint, kid. Wish I could be there.
Weird.
So that is Xanadu. And you know what? Apparently other people like Xanadu. This is Jen Oxier, and I want to welcome you to the show, Jen. Thank you so much for popping on. Jen is one of Rachel's best friends since junior high school. And she's actually the one who gave me the idea to do this.
Bravo, Jen. Bravo.
So she's the one who actually gave me the idea. And I'm so glad that Xanadu has, I guess people in Rachel's generation do have appreciation for that film. I think the one thing you can really take away from Xanadu, if there's one theme, it's that, you should see to have dreams and to try to make your dreams happen. And I think that that's the overall theme that I think people remember and like about that movie. What I found awkward is when I was watching it again on Monday night, I realized how very little Olivia Newton-John really is in that film. It's mostly Michael Beck's character in his story. And he's like searching for her all the time, and she'll pop up every now and then, but it's him and his relationship with Gene Kelly and how they decide to share a dream and open up this 40s style and 80s style mixed bar together. And so Xanadu is beloved by many people, even though it did not do well in the box office. I'm sure a lot of people are watching it this weekend. Let
me hold on for a sec.
Sure.
Okay, hold on for a sec. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure a lot of you just got knocked off. And the reason you've gotten knocked off, and I'm checking now, yes, NBC has tagged us. Go to any one of our other Facebook pages, which we are also on YouTube. And even though we got flagged by NBC Universal, they flagged us over Facebook. We are on YouTube, Twitch. I'm sorry?
Because
It was
Universal,
Xanadu?
because Universal, Xanadu is a Universal film. We're doing a tribute to Olivia Newton-John. Universal, please, bring us back up, please.
Yeah, we hope they do that. But guys, just search around and find us elsewhere because we did lose a lot of people so far on this broadcast. So keep on going. We're still recording over YouTube. Rose, do what you want to do. I'm going to do some checking around here for a sec.
Sure. And so what we're going to go into next is in 1983, John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John teamed up again for a film called Two of a Kind. And let me see what I've got here for Two of a Kind.
So, is this a movie you'd recommend to people to spend their hard-earned money on? I mean,
it's good entertainment.
Yeah, it's a
It
fun
is.
movie.
Escape from.
Yeah, I think in this year at the end of this year with a lot of sort of downer type films out, I think this is one of the few that you could go out with a little kick in your heel.
Yeah.
It's an escape movie.
No,
It's
it's
a fun
escape
movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Does it have some substance, some real chance for acting for you, though? Because it's your first.
Well, do you remember It's a
None.
Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart?
Yes.
Okay.
His favorite movie.
Well, it's not as
it's
significant.
nothing like that.
Sorry, it's nothing like that. Remember The Godfather?
Yeah.
Nothing
It's nothing like that.
You don't have to worry about it being The Godfather. Okay.
But it has that feel, that flavor to it.
It has an old-fashioned movie kind of feel to it. And we have some great people in it. Oliver Reed and Charles Durning and Beatrice Straight, Scatman Crothers. And it's good and it's
enjoyable,
fun.
it's
It's got a
funny.
great soundtrack.
And Olivia's wonderful in it, I think.
And so's John.
Now, you.
So, yes, so that was an interview about Two of a Kind, which was another, you would think that people would have wanted and rushed out to the theaters to see Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta again in another movie. But that's not what happened. It ended up not doing well at all. And even though there were, two songs that were really big hits in the film, especially Twist of Fate, and they have such great chemistry. And so I really don't know why people did not want to go out and see that film. I do have a clip from another clip from Two of a Kind, the actual movie. I don't have the Twist of Fate video because of stuff like this. We've gotten kicked off of Facebook, but you can catch us over on Twitch. You can catch us on YouTube. So let me find. There we go.
$1,000.
How much?
What are you doing?
How much?
I told you 3,000.
How much?
All right, 5,000.
5,000. I don't believe it.
Okay, 8,600. 8,600. That's all there is. I swear.
8,600? Get it.
Hey, your mother's on the phone with me.
Stuart, I got something for you, man.
For her sake, I hope you do, because if you don't, I'm gonna cut her ears off.
What if I told you I had half the money?
I'll only cut off one ear.
As the story gallops along and the stakes get higher, Travolta learns a few special lessons and falls in love.
So yes, that was a clip from Two of a Kind. I think that Olivia is so beautiful in that movie, and she's always she's got really comic timing, and it was nice seeing her do like more of a comedic role with John in this film. Did you see Two of a Kind, Mark?
No, I did not. I think anything past Xanadu, I didn't see. An interesting thing about the Xanadu era, or the season, shall I say, that summer alone was the release of Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Star Wars came out in May. Xanadu came out in August. Empire Strikes Back would have still been at the theaters, so it could have hurt it a bit. Real quick, I just want to tell people, whoever's listening to us, because we did lose a lot of our audience here on the Facebook page. Our YouTube channel, we're fine. I just went on it. You're broadcasting fine. So if anybody can hear us, and I'm going to go ahead and post the link on your page, Rose, and all of our other Facebook pages. If you can find us on YouTube, go to it now, and we'll keep an eye on it, and we can see any comments coming up from YouTube. So take it away, Rose.
Okay. And Mike, thank you for being on. And you saw Xanadu in the theater when it first opened. I wished I had.
Ugh.
But that was the beauty of cable. Where I lived in my little hometown, there wasn't a big movie theater for a long time. We only had a drive-in theater, and it wasn't until like the maybe late 80s, or no, early 80s that we ended up getting three theaters in it was Campbell Square. And but I did not get to see Xanadu. Even though movies were very inexpensive back then, my parents did not have a lot of money, so I had to rely on cable for a lot of my television and movie viewing. So yes, Two of a Kind I did get to see once again on cable, and I watched it every time it was on. There's a lot of great actors in that film, and I just wished it had gotten. If it had turned out to be more popular and done better, I think that Olivia and John would have done more movies together. A lot of times people consider them as like the Hepburn and Tracy of their era, and if they'd done more movies together, I think it would have been really nice. I mean, they did have a lot of chemistry, and it's something that we'll never get to have. But so after Two of a Kind,
that woman.
Hmm?
Yeah, that woman got incredibly more attractive the older she got.
She really did. She aged so well.
Yeah, she was robbed from us because she still had the look, she still had the personality. The youth was still there, and for her to just disappear off the face of this earth as such popularity, in my opinion, just totally wrong. Just totally wrong.
Well, even though she was not popular in movies, she had her best album of all time. I think it was 1982. This was Physical.
Oh,
Physical was her
yes.
superstar moment. It was her big. Physical was on the charts #1 for 10 straight weeks in a row.
The
And
video alone.
Yeah. That song and that entire album, there was other songs on that album that did very well, and that was my favorite album of Olivia's. That's the one I used to play for hours and hours and hours, because some of the songs on there were so incredible, and I would sit there and I would imagine like stories with the songs, and I'd just make up stuff as I went along, and her voice was so soothing and so just such a calming presence. And I really appreciated that about her. She never had any like really rough songs, I mean, they were all, smooth and even though, sometimes they were a little bit risque, even at my age, like at 10 or 11, when Physical came out, I understood the double entendre in that song, even at that age,
That was a big word. That was a big word. What'd you just say?
Yeah, but it had the double meaning. Physical had that double meaning going on. And that album was, there's "Make a Move on Me," and also the Dolphin song is on there. And I wanted to take a minute to talk about that. Olivia Newton-John was a huge environmentalist. Okay, I think when her Dolphin song came out, she had money that went towards dolphin conservation. And throughout the years later on in her life, especially after she was diagnosed with breast cancer in 1992, she made a lot of she did a lot of charity work, and even opened up special where they do research for her. So like Olivia Newton-John Research Center, where they do cancer research. And she, put a lot of money into that over the years, because, it's incredible that since 1992, she has been struggling on and off with having breast cancer, and that just tells you what a survivor she is, because, I mean, that's a long time to be dealing with something so, just so brutal,
Yeah.
But yeah, she did a lot of, so like I said, she was a big environmentalist, and not last year, but I think in 2020, maybe might have been 21. She and her daughter did a song together about how let's find a window through the wall and let's try to bring people back together. And I found that video today, and I'm not going to play it because it's music and it's going to get knocked off. But if you go to my Facebook page, I did like a pre-show thing where I threw up all these music videos of Olivia Newton-John that were on YouTube. I was just sharing away, and that was one of them. It's such a beautiful song. It really is.
Yeah. If you have clips, Rose, to show, just mute the music and you could talk over it. You can commentate over top of what's shown on the screen. So at least the audience will have visuals, you know?
Right. And unfortunately I ran across it like on my way home, so I don't. But
okay.
But yeah, I encourage everybody to look that up. Her daughter is very beautiful and also very talented. It was a very sweet song. And that's A Window in a Wall. If you go to YouTube, you can find it. Just look up Olivia Newton-John and you'll find it's a duet between them two. Over the years, she did a lot of duets with like Andy Gibb, who's no longer with us, and his brother Gary. Oh no, not brother. I think it's a brother. Is Barry Gibb his brother or his cousin? I'm not sure.
Barry's the only one that's alive. It's Maurice and Maurice is passed and the younger.
But yeah, Barry Gibb did like a really sweet tribute to Olivia on his page the other day too, and they also would sing duets together from time to time. So after Olivia did, Physical was like her huge big musical splash where it just went crazy. Later on, she kept doing music and she kept doing albums, and she also opened up her own boutique in Los Angeles. With an Australian flair. It was called Koala Blue. And if people were watching in the beginning of the show, I mentioned Pat Carroll, and I said, pay attention to Pat Carroll because she's going to come up again. And so I'm going to share this clip with you when they opened Koala Blue. And I believe, I don't remember the
Love their cherry ripe candy bars, adore their Vegemite spread, and go crazy for Monte Carlo cookies. And from now on, when Olivia Newton-John gets a craving for down under treats, she can waltz into Koala Blue, the all Aussie boutique she and Pat Farrar recently opened in Los Angeles.
Last year when I was on tour, I was thinking about how I missed things about Australia, especially like Australian candy bars and milkshakes, and I'd love a hot pie and sauce, and I was craving all these things.
What was that, a hot what?
A hot pie. Hot pie and sauce, a meat pie and sauce. And I came back on my birthday, and on my birthday dinner, I was telling Pat how I thought it'd be a great idea to open a little milk bar where all the Aussies could hang out and have a pie and a piece of pavlova and read an Aussie newspaper.
The idea in my mind was to combine the milk bar with fashion and bring the Australian fashion over too, so it'd be a really unique type of place.
And Koala Blue features some beaut clothes and accessories from Australia's top designers. What few folks know about these shop owners is that they actually began singing together many years ago in London.
Everybody tells me so, can't buy me love. No, no, no.
Actually, we had individual careers, and as it turned out, to cut a long story short, we were both in England, and Pat and myself and my mother shared an apartment for a while, and I wasn't doing much, and Pat had a contract over there, so she offered to split her contract with me so we could join up as a double act, really just not to be lonely.
So, yes, so her friend from the 1960s ended up opening Koala Blue with her, and the store was open for almost a decade, and then they closed it down. But there's another connection with Pat Carroll, who became Pat Farrar, and that is Pat's husband, John Farrar. John Farrar he was a producer for much of Olivia Newton-John's music over the years. He did a lot of work with her. And if you hear, mostly like songs later on, especially in the 80s, the Physical album, Xanadu, I believe he also worked on. It's he has like a big presence in her life. And that's a really cool connection that, her friend ended up marrying a guy who ended up producing Olivia's music. And that I think is pretty cool that they were friends all those years. One moment. I wanted to see. We had some. Oh yes, okay. So Mike's on. He's like, Barry is the only one left. You were right, Mark, on that. And Robin, Maurice, and Andy Gibb are gone. Yeah. So thank you, Mike, for being on and switching on over to Twitch. I appreciate that. We're getting close to the end of the show. I really, I remember when Olivia opened up Koala Blue, and I always dreamed of wanting to go there. And, I never got to, of course, but I thought that was really pretty special. She did an interview not too long ago, and I wanted to share it. This is like right as COVID was going on. A little bit about
that Olivia Newton-John joins us now from Los Angeles. Olivia, morning to you. Thank you for being with us. Nothing will stop you with your campaign here in the middle of all your own health battles. We absolutely love it. How are you holding up?
Thank you very much. I'm doing well. How are you guys? I love Matt and Nat. What a great pairing that is.
I know. The producers don't know what they're talking about because they're getting confused. But let's talk about you. You've obviously had recurring bouts of cancer. What does this walk mean to you and other cancer survivors?
Well, it means a lot to me. Ever since the centre has been open, we've had fundraisers to keep the wellness centre going and offering wonderful therapies for people going through cancer, because I know from my experience that doing things that support your mind, body and spirit is incredibly important, and your mind is one of the most important things on that journey. So in the wellness centre, we offer a lot of alternative, or people call them alternative, but I don't. I think they're just part of your healing journey, with yoga and meditation and acupuncture, oncological acupuncture and art therapy. And I know from my own experience that it really, really makes a huge difference in your recovery. It keeps you positive and in a great space.
Yeah, the difference.
I think that a lot of Olivia's longevity and battle with cancer was her attitude. She just had this amazing attitude throughout. There was a article with Jane Seymour, who was discussing about the last time she met up with Olivia Newton-John. They'd been friends forever. And she went over there and she's like, I can't believe this might be the last time I ever get to see you. And Olivia's sitting there and she's like, look at the dogs, look at the horses, look at the birds. She was just enjoying life and admiring the moment that she was in that space. And Jane was just so moved by her friend's courage and the way that she her outlook. And I think that that's why Olivia just managed to deal with cancer, especially in the last couple of years. I know I read it was like really hard on her. It had spread throughout her body. But like I said, I mean, I really admire, the way that she lived her life and, for almost 40 years dealing with, cancer on and off. I missed getting to see, I did get to see her in a concert one time. It was on my birthday, and I don't remember what year, but it was probably maybe 15, 16 years ago. She was coming down here, and it was on my birthday, and I'm going. This is going to be the best birthday present I ever get. And it was just such a delight. She sang every song, and everybody knew every word to every song that she sang, from her country stuff to her later stuff. Everybody knows these songs by heart, and it's just such a thrill. And before we end tonight, I just want to bring up a couple of different things. Hey, Lorraine, thank you for being on the show tonight. I really appreciate you coming on. What I'd like to say is it hit me really hard about Olivia dying. And a lot of people, my friends my age, admit she meant a lot to them. She was, it's the Grease generation, Xanadu. And my friends, knew how hard I'd been hit, because I like right afterwards, I wrote this Dear Olivia letter on my Facebook page about how much she meant to me. And throughout the week, my friends would send me, eulogies that they heard from other people, or memories about, how Xanadu and Kira meant to them, and or Grease. And my favorite one was my friend Teresa, who never, she's a really shy. I've always thought of her as a really shy person. She got on Facebook Live and did the entire "We Go Together," and she did she danced and did all these dance moves and did the whole entire song. And I watched it like maybe 4 or 5 times. And I told Teresa, I'm like, I haven't smiled all week, and this made me smile because I did not expect that from her. And it was just so sweet and cute, and everybody just adored it. So, I wish that, here it is Friday night. I really wish some of them would have been able to come on, but, everybody's got their own lives. But I want to, Mark, do you have any final thoughts before I show my final clip?
Yes, I do, but I'm not ready yet.
Okay. Well, I'm going to show the final clip, and then you can collect your thoughts on that. Okay.
Okay. Now I'm ready.
Okay. Go ahead. You go ahead, please.
I need to take a swig.
Me too. It's been a week.
You did a great job tonight, by the way. I'm really proud of you.
Thank
and
you
I just
so much.
Want to share
I was
this.
nervous as all get out. I was nervous. I think
All right.
you knew I was nervous.
Yeah,
I
it's fine.
It's special,
Yep, you did great. All right, are you ready for me? Everybody ready for me now?
Please.
Okay.
Everybody.
We go together like rama lama 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 ding a ding a dong. Remembered forever as shoe bop the bada wada wada boom boom da boom. Chang chang changity chang chang. That's the way it should be. Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
All right.
That's all I got.
And this is a good way to send off, because the final clip that I have is from her dear friend John Travolta. This is off of Entertainment Tonight, and I wanted to share this as my final clip for the evening. So let me just pull it up here.
Person in the world that was Sandy, and that was Olivia Newton-John.
John Travolta pays tribute to his beloved Grease co-star.
Yeah. Sandy!
Olivia Newton-John died on Monday. She was 73 years old. John mourns his friend of over 40 years on social media, writing, "My dearest Olivia, you made all of our lives so much better. Your impact was incredible. I love you so much. We will see you down the road, and we will all be together again. Yours from the first moment I saw you and forever, your Danny, your John."
This is the jacket. This I've maintained. We won't talk about the pants.
John and Olivia's legacies are bound forever by their classic roles as Danny and Sandy.
They had brought up Linda Ronstadt. They'd brought up Marie Osmond. And I said, they're wonderful. I said, but every guy in the world wants Olivia Newton-John as their girlfriend.
Right.
And I knew that because I wanted that. I felt the same way. Okay. And every girl wants to be like her. And I said, if you don't see this, you guys are nuts. Because there was only one person in the world that was Sandy, and that was Olivia Newton-John.
Sandy?
Sandy?
Tell me about it. I always think of the minute that I came out as Sandy too as being kind of exciting, even on the day.
All that was just, it was a natural reaction. It was so much fun to see her dressed up in that garb, And that number, like doing that number was great fun.
Yeah.
I think it's just amazing to be in a movie that's a classic. I mean, it's been popular. It seems like every year from then, I've heard someone talk about Grease, how they love it, or their children love it, or their grandchildren love it, and they watch it on tape at least once a week. It's just incredible. I feel very lucky.
Feels like we've given a gift to mankind somehow, around the world. And that feels so honorable, I think, don't you? It feels like you've contributed something.
Bing, 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 bong.
You know, there was a story that I thought I had on here and I didn't, and I'm going to share it real quick about Olivia and John Travolta. John Travolta was enamored of Olivia before he even met her. He really appreciated her music. And this album cover here was, I think, one of her first or second. This was a big hit. I think she did I Honestly Love You on this one. So John Travolta, when he did an album, they're like, well, what do you want to do? It's an album cover. And he's like, well, I want to wear a blue shirt and I want to fold my hands like this. And this was his album cover. And he did that before he even met Olivia Newton-John, but he did it mimicking her album cover.
Wow.
And so, you know, it's really surprising that, you know, they never really hooked up or anything, you know, but I think they had a special love for each other, you know, a special friendship all these years, you know, and I just think that's really cool. Everybody, Mark, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
Oh, anytime.
And,
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I really hope everybody who got to see the show enjoyed the show. It meant a lot to me to do it. And I just wanted to honor her because she was like, you know, she was the best friend who never knew that she was my best friend. So, you know, I just spent many hours, you know, hanging out with Olivia. And I'm just glad she was a part of my life. And
she was an absolutely gorgeous woman. She was literally the girl next door. There was great sex appeal in her, but it wasn't over the top sex appeal. You know, it was just so much. She was like bubblegum to me. You know, it's unbelievable how much I still remember everything about Olivia. And what she has given me, which in fact was Grease. Thank God by the way, you didn't talk about Grease too. Thank you for that.
Well, she wasn't in that, so
I know that. I know. It's just the name, just the title. I didn't want
if
you
you want to talk
there.
about Grease 2, watch Roses and Reactions episode that we did on Grease 2.
Not. Hey, so, look, a little plug for you.
Sure.
You guys catch Rose. Rose also does a show called with her daughter with Rachel called Roses and Reactions. I got peanut dust going down my throat. I'm sorry. Rose and Reactions. But if you want to see Rose again, she'll be with me along with a special guest host tomorrow morning. Okay, for Saturday morning cartoons. So I'm being ganged up on. Jerome's not going to be with me tomorrow, so I have two lovely ladies who are going to be on with me tomorrow morning. But it's their show. It's Jennifer. So come on tomorrow and see Rose again, and then of course our other show that she has, Roses and Reactions. And I do believe you are planning yet another show. You are a glutton for punishment. What's this about?
Well, it's going to be like sort of like specials, I think.
Barbara Walters, Miss Barbara Walters. I get it.
Maybe let me just preface it this way. In 2 weeks, because I'm going to try to do it like the Friday that we're off from classic television SmackDown. I believe it's the 26th. Friday the 26th at 8:00. I'm just now announcing this now, and I'm going to put it up. Do an huge announcement tomorrow, actually, on it. Okay. I'm going to do virtual audiobook presentation. My book's coming out on audio, and I'm just going to pop on. I don't know how long the show will be, but the narrator for the book, Sky Alley, she's going to be on with me, hopefully, and we're going to discuss the Warped Influences, the audio edition audio book launch party. So that's in 2 weeks. And I also started a YouTube channel for my writing. It's author R.M. Rose. I'm really planning on doing something different, trying to do different things with regard to my book and my current writing. And what I want to do is I also want to interview other writers down the line. I want to do book reviews, and this is going to be on my channel over there on YouTube and through MBL. So I'm really appreciative to Mark for giving me this opportunity and encouraging me just to go for it. with these different projects. And I also want to do a special thank you tonight to Garrett and Sage, Garrett came in and saved me again tonight. Last week, I ended up losing StreamYard because we did a cleaner on the computer and it just disappeared. Tonight,
well, what happened tonight? Oops.
Tonight I went into the studio and
Yeah.
I'm like, and you know, I'm looking around and it's not my studio. It's not our studio, Mark. I was in Lights, Thunder, Action Studio. Somehow
you went up to the upper left or upper right corner and you hit the pull down menu, didn't you?
I don't know what I did wrong. Anyway,
Yeah,
I contacted Garrett and I said, Garrett, I'm in
Yeah.
the wrong studio. Please help me.
Sure.
And he came to my rescue and got me where I needed to be. So
good.
So thank you, Garrett, and thank you, Sage, and thank everybody at the HWWS and MBL, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and I appreciate it. And I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. They got to see it. I'm sorry that some of you got kicked off, but hopefully we'll resolve this issue. You know, it's really funny because I would have figured Paramount would have hit me for Grease. But instead, Universal says, "Oh no, our precious Xanadu."
You know, you think about it. if you think, I'm sorry, if you think about it, they were actually doing us a favor. It's like, yes, please, some divine force, please help us.
Trailer, and I played one clip, and I'm sure it's the trailer and the music. Xanadu probably just that was it. That's all it took.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get this squared away, and so everybody can see this show in their entirety, because it meant a lot to me to do it. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and please join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Saturday morning cartoons. Special guest star Jennifer Rainey Thompson. She and I put together this show. It's her clips and her favorites, and I just took it and ran with it and did the editing
do I get to speak? Do I get to speak tomorrow at all? Do I get to speak tomorrow?
It's your show. It's your show.
No, it's our show, but I mean, I just, I don't want to get beat up.
There's some stuff you're going to absolutely hate.
I saw the list, and look, your demise is imminent. Okay, I saw the list.
I saw the list.
So we're literally gonna have a nuclear strike while you're on air. You're all of a sudden you'll disappear and there'll be static on the screen, and only because I saw that list. Okay, I'm just warning you now. So yeah, tomorrow morning is gonna be very interesting, but we're gonna like it.
I have no outro, so I'm just gonna say good night and thank you to all of you.
All righty, good night, everybody.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.